So I'm making you host. Just share the screen and just practice on the Eclipse, whether it's working and are you able to write down the code. So once we are you able to do it, then we can move it to the next module. So we are left with the abstraction part of the OOPS.
Yeah.
I have made you the host. Just check one.
Yeah.
Create a few variable and see whether able to run it or not. As you have already done work on the C, so you already aware about different kind of data types, right? So just try to declare a data types, any variable, and print those variable, whether you are able to do it or what. Check it. Okay. Any other? Try it with a float, double, character, string.
It's okay.
Yes. Okay. Can you declare a float and double? Correct. And print it. Print same only. You can change it here A to C, and you can do it. No, no, no need to. Okay. Yes. And double.
I don't know how to declare them.
No,
Should
you.
I add D or something?
No, no. You declare
Okay,
that.
I have.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Correct. So if suppose you want to perform an arithmetic operation, how you're going to do that? Similarly, like a plus b, a minus c. Okay. Compound assignment I've explained you, right? Compound assignment, you know.
Uh,
Same thing like short representation. Like
yeah.
suppose if you have a c is equal to c plus b, then how you write it? C plus equal to b, kind of thing, right? You okay? You note down. You just write down c is equal to, yes, correct. C plus d. I think you need to do it. Okay. No, no, because one is your character. So yeah, try it with. So are you getting?
Uh,
Yes. Right. So here this is and how to add a comment, double slash. Okay, use double slash to add a comment. So whenever you do anything, any instruction you write down or any statement you write down, don't forget to
Button
add
this.
a comment. Yeah, correct, like that. So add a comment with every instruction so that anyone who see the code they can understand it. Okay. Now okay, that's enough. You can stop sharing so I can uh, explain you about the abstraction and
How do I stop share?
yeah, you click. Yeah. Now make me the host.
Yes, done.
Yeah, okay. So before, okay, let me start it the abstraction, what we are left with, and then we can move it to the other part.
By the way, can you just give a brief recap about polymorphism?
Okay, polymorphism. Polymorphism is used for many form, means it can take a multiple form where function overloading and function overriding we use it. If you remember, I have not shared you the code, but okay, let me check it. With this, you will easily understand. Yeah, as you see on my screen, right? So polymorphism, I said you ability to take more than one form. What do you mean by this? Means with the help of this polymorphism, you can do multiple tasks, okay, with the same name. Just like I have given you example of method. You can declare a method with the same name, but what should be different? Their signature should be different. Signature in the sense return type, count of parameter, type of parameter, it should be different. And that situation called as method overloading. This method overloading, you do it inside a single class when you have a same method inside the class with the same name and different parameter. Okay, is it clear to you? So I have written here also, you can declare a method with the same name, different return type, differ in count of parameter, type of parameter inside the same class.
Yeah,
That is
okay.
called, it
I
is
got it.
yeah. Do you have any question?
No, I was not able to read. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, can you repeat once again?
Yeah, it's clear. Actually, I was not able to recall, like when I was going
Okay,
through
okay,
what and all
okay,
you have done.
okay, okay, no issue. I will share you the slide up in the night, so have a look on that, and so that it will be easy to remember. Okay, or you can get it understand. Actually,
Yeah,
this
okay.
I have not shared you the notes yesterday. I will share it today, both day 2, day 3. So have a look on that, and then you once you read it, you will easily understand. So polymorphism, they are classified into two category: compile time and runtime. So in that compile time, that is called method overloading, comes under compile time, and runtime is a method overriding. So what do you mean by method overriding? Yesterday I've explained you the example where we were running same method in a different class, right? And they are all same print data, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So that is a method overriding. And what is the difference in these two? In method overriding, it comes under runtime. Second different, you will have exactly same method name, same parameters, same return type, but they should be in a different class. And how you're going to call it, how you're going to invoke it with the help of object. Okay, so with the help of object, you can call it, you can create it, and you can use it or you can access it. So there are two type of means concept inside the polymorphism. Means you can have a same name and you can perform different operation. Like here, this Anu is doing addition of two element. Here if I add return x in sorry, multiplication of two element, means it is returning multiplication of x and y. Here I can do the multiplication of x, y, and z. Okay, you can change it here. One thing, let me make a change here. So here you take this as a z. Okay, because why I have written it by mistake, I have written z here. And here what you will write it, here you just write it return x into y into z. Okay, I'm saving this so that when I will share it, you will get this correction. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so instead of this y you take z, so that there are three parameter that you have passed it here, and based on that it is also doing multiplication. So here, as you have seen this, that how with the same method name you are performing different operation. Okay, let me save it, and then I will share you with you. It will take a moment, just 1 minute. Yes, so it will be like this. So there are two concepts: overloading and overriding. Overriding you have already know. Overriding in the sense it will be method overriding. You have a same method name with same number of parameter and same number of or same count of parameter, same method name with the same number of parameter or same count of parameter, or in short if I say you exactly same method in different class, then what we say to this? Yeah, Anushka, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so method overriding, it means that if you have a same method name with same number of parameters, same count of parameter, or in short, if I say exactly the same method in a different class, that is method overriding. Okay, so these two concepts are there: overloading and overriding inside your polymorphism. This thing is missing in the C language. In C++ is available, and Java it provide you more opportunity, and more, there you can use the same method name. So this is the advantage of polymorphism. There is one more concept that we are left yesterday, that is the abstraction. Okay, what do you mean by this abstraction? Abstraction is also hiding of the detail. But here, how it is different from encapsulation? In last class I said you encapsulation is also the hiding of detail, but there you are using access specifier and visibility mode. Remember?
Yeah.
So visibility mode you are using it to make your class private, protected, or secure, right, or public, like that. In abstraction, what you do it, you hide the unnecessary detail, and how you're going to achieve it with the help of abstract keyword. Okay, this abstract keyword, how it will help you? This abstract keyword, whenever you declare with any method or any class, okay, abstract keyword is you whenever you use abstract keyword with any method name, it means that you will not going to provide a body in that class. Body will be provided in the child class. So in this way you will going to prevent the, or you can provide a security. Let me show you how it is. Let me close this, or okay, 1 minute. Abstraction, 1 minute. Just 1 minute, let me open it and show you abstraction. Somewhere it is present. Let me check it where it is. Okay, let it be. I save it somewhere here also. Let me show you the code. Abstraction. Okay, I think somewhere it is there. Misplaced. Okay, yeah, this one. Sorry, it is on the top itself. Okay, so just like this here, in this abstract, what do you mean by this abstraction? Abstraction means here what you usually do when you use this keyword abstract with any method name, then that method will become secure, and to that method we provide a body in the child class. When I will going to inherit this class, I will provide a body to this class, means this method. Why this abstract keyword is important? Abstraction is a concept. Abstraction means hiding, and you are hiding this method from the outsider. So now suppose who will going to inherit this class, who is a part of this package, right? Suppose you are working in a Microsoft, okay, and that Microsoft, so suppose window 8 they have made any method as an abstract, okay, and you want to develop a window 10. So
Mhm.
who will going to provide a body to this? Only the Microsoft employee, right? Can a Apple employee go to the Microsoft company and they can implement it? No, right? So means whoever is having the right, they will going to provide a body to it. So what do you mean by this abstraction? Abstraction is a keyword that when you add with any class, that class will become a abstract class. And or you can say it, when the class is having an abstract method, that class is called as an abstract class. I repeat once again, when the class is having any abstract method, that class is called an abstract class. And what do you mean by this abstract class or abstract method? When you declare any method as abstract, it means that you will not going to provide a body to it. Whoever will inherit this class, they will provide a body based on their requirement. You understood now?
Kind of.
You know?
No, I don't.
Okay. So let's see it. Suppose another method. So I have implemented it. This you can see it here. This is my abstract demo class. Okay. And in this, you can see this is a method. I have provided no body to it. How I will do it? I will simply inherit this class. How you will inherit this class? With the help of which keyword?
Extend.
Good. So here you see I have extended here, and I am providing a body to it. You can see it here. I am writing this. I have provided a body. Means body in the sense I'm just printing it. This is an abstract method. You can perform any operation, arithmetic operation you want to perform, or whatever task you want to perform, you can do it here. And then you need to create an object. How you create an object? I told you in the last class what is the syntax of that. Class name. Okay. And
Class name, then your object name, then
correct,
equals to new of the class.
correct. But here you are making the object of a which class? Your parent class. Why you are making parent class? Okay, let me run this code first and run it. Okay, first let me close this project first, this one. Why I'm closing this project? So that while running it should not give me any error. Because if all the projects are open and you try to run it, it might give you error, or that compiler won't be able to identify which project you want to run it. So you need to have a close all the project before.
So is there no option as close all? We have to just go one by one. Close all of them.
No, we need to close one by one. If you close all the project, then this project will also get closed, right? So that's
Then
why,
we'll open it. No.
yeah, but there's no feature like you can close all the project. You have to close the Eclipse itself in that case. Actually, I opened too many projects in order to check abstract one. That's why it is problem. Otherwise, it not be any issue. So let me run this first. So what happens? Abstraction is open, right? So why it is not running? I think is there any project is open? Okay, let me make it another package. I'm making a new class. Okay, sorry. So here, as I said you, this is your method, and when you declare any class as abstract, here this method should be means an abstract class should have an abstract method. Okay, so suppose if you want to prevent this from being provided body, or suppose your parent class they created a method and they leave it on you, means how you can provide a body, means what implementation you want to give it, it's on you. So how you're going to do that, you will going to inherit it. And as per the syntax I told you, wherever the main function is there, you will create an object like that, demo 1 object new demo 1. But here we are creating an object of the parent class and we are passing here this class. Why? Because this class is providing a body of the method of this class. That is the reason here I am using obj dot another methods.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Yes, yeah. But here when we start interface another module, that it will be more clear to you. So let me run this, check whether it's working. What happened? Why it's not coming? Yeah. So I think that this console screen was shifted here, and last time also we were getting output, but we were not be able to see it. Okay, no issue. So here you can see it when I call this obj dot another method, it has printed abstract. Why it is? Because I have created here method, and here I am calling this another method. So you will create an object of parent class, but who is providing a body of to that method. So you need to pass that class name. Otherwise, normal class and object program, we need to just pass the exactly the same class name. Okay, if you have a single class, then you will pass this abstract demo itself. I know we are learning first time, so it will be a complex to you, but it's just a you just remember as of now. When I will start the abstraction module, then it will be more clear. Just remember as of now who is providing a body to the method. You need to pass on the right hand side that class name so that it will be executed. So here you call obj dot another method. So it is printed the content of this. And when you call obj dot my method, so my method is what present in this, right? This method will get executed. Is it clear to you? Anything not clear?
Can you explain again? It's very confusing. I'm trying to understand. Like
Okay.
this abstraction, can you just go to the abstraction dot demo? Yeah. Yeah, so there's an abstract class. Its name is abstract underscore demo one. And then inside that, there's a method, right? So this whole abstract thing won't have a body.
This method you have provided it. This is one method. This is
Uh-huh.
another method.
Yeah, so the abstract method won't have the body.
Yes, you are providing a body here. See this method, you are providing the body here. What body you have provided, you are just trying to print inside it that it's an abstract method. Just it. You can do any operation inside this. I have taken the simple one. I'm just writing abstract method. Okay. Now
Mhm.
you need to execute this code. So what you need it main method. Inside this main method, you need to create an object. So object you will, as of now, I told you in class and object where there is only single class, right? So there I have told you object you will going to create wherever main function will be present. That is with respect to normal class. But when you work with abstract class, you need to pass on the right hand side the class name which is providing the body to your abstract method. Who is providing a body to your abstract method? Which class is providing a body?
Demo one.
So you will pass here demo 1 and here abstract demo. Why you will creating an object of abstract demo? Because the method is present in which class? which method you want to print it. So this side, you will give that class name where abstract method is present. And on the right hand side, you will give that class name who will provide a body to that. Once you create an object, you will call the method. Which method you will call? Abstract method.
Okay, got it.
And this is what, this is your normal method. And how you are calling it? With the help of object. What is the name of an object? Obj. And remember one thing, left hand side will be your abstract class name. Okay. Right hand side will be the class that will going to provide a body to the abstract method. So who is going to provide a body here? Demo one. That's why you have written demo one on right hand side. An abstract method is present in a which class? What is the name of that class? Abstract demo.
Abstract ones.
So you will write it in the left hand side and you will going to call that method just like a normal method.
Okay.
So this is called an abstraction. What do you mean by abstraction? It is used to hiding the detail. And how you will hide the detail? Suppose if you made this function as an abstract, then this method, it will be, you can't provide a body to it. So now suppose, for example, I have given you variable. Okay, I have given you the variable. Suppose there is no term here. Abstract variable is not like that. But suppose I have given you few variable as an abstract variable. Okay, like A, B, and C, and I was going to say you implement it whatever operation you want. Okay, so suppose you as an Anushka, suppose they are doing arithmetic. A is equal to B plus C. Similarly, there is one more girl, suppose Anu. She will going to implement it. A is equal to B minus C. Similarly, there is one more who will going to implement it into B into C, and B B divided by D, B mod D, or anything like that. So here, what do you mean by this? Implementation is completely depend on whom, or the person who will going to extend this class. So whoever will going to extend this class, they will provide a body to it, right? So I am implementing this class, so I will going to provide body based on my requirement. So here I have hide the details. I have hide this method body, or you can say it, I declare it this method so that anyone who want to use it, they will provide a body to it. Okay, simple funda is not much difficult. Is it clear
Yeah,
now?
okay. Yeah, it's clear.
Great. So this is called an abstraction term. Let me close this project. Now we will going to see about the string. Okay. So in our syllabus, we have seen what is class, object, oops concept I have shown you. We will going to see one by one every topic we're going to cover it. Today, I will going to show you this string part, how you can work with this string. And then from the next class onward, in the next class, I will start the array concept. What is an array? And then we will start this OOP concept and we will see this program. Okay. So here you can see it. I have declared few variable. Okay. A, B, C. Let me take it. Let me. So this Anushka, how it save it? This Anushka is saved in the string variable, right? Are you able to see it? Just have a look on this code once and let me know whether you are getting or not. First, just have a look on this, what we are trying to do it. Can you just check it?
Yeah. First one is it will tell the length of the string. Second one, I'm writing that character zero.
So first one is here. In Java, string is also like they are saved in the group of a cell, right? So suppose character is there. You might have studied in the C language also how we represent the character. Character is represented in a single quote, right? Do you remember it?
Yeah,
And string, how we represent?
double quotes.
Correct. So in Java, string is a group of a character, okay, and this group of a character, they are saved in some memory, okay, and how they are saved in a memory just like an array in the cell, okay, because they are continuous, so they are also saved in some memory in the contiguous fashion, and they will also have an index, okay. Index in the sense, array.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just 1 minute. So suppose you have a string, right? So how the datas are saved in a cell, they are just like an array, they are also saving on some cell inside the memory, or any means inside the memory the datas are saved, and is it is a group of a character, right? String is a group of a character, so your data will be saved like this. Suppose your name is Anushka, right? So this is A N U S H K A, Anushka, and suppose T for your last name. So what will be the index of here? Okay. What will be the index of an element that are present on the cell will be index always start from 0. Array, right? So in array, index start from which value?
Zero.
Correct. So in the string itself, in the Java also, index start from 0, and the element are saved like this. Okay. So here, now suppose, okay, so now the first character is present at the index 0. Why we need this representation? In order to save the element in a memory, okay. So string also, they are saved like this inside the memory, and you can access any element of the string also, okay. So in Java, in string, there are some predefined functions are available that will help you to use this string, and there is a library, import java dot lang dot There are different kind of libraries are there. Even if you do not add it, that is also work here with this help of string. There are few library that we use it: Java lang, Java string. So here there are some library like this. There is some more library we added. These are just in order to use a predefined function. Okay. Similarly, import java dot util dot star, right? So these are some predefined function that we, sorry, predefined library that we need to implement it. But here we don't need it as of now, because we are working with the normal predefined function that are available in a Java. So here you can so here, now suppose, okay, you want to print the length of an element. Okay, so how you're going to print it? B dot length. B is what here? B is your variable name. Okay, and length will give you, you can read it from here also, like the length function will give you the number of element in that particular variable. Now when I will run this, it will show me the number of character in your name. Let me run this and show you. So length function will give you number of character in your name. So 7. So you can count it. Okay, sorry, I think oh sorry, here I have read
Yeah,
only.
Anushka is saying
Yes. Now when I will read it, it will give you 7. So the first length function, what it will give you, it will give you
8.
the number of character in your string. So with the help of this string function in Python, no, not in Python, in a C language, this kind of predefined functions were not available much to use it. Okay, you can see it here also, java.len.string.strip. So inside this java.len.string, there are predefined functions are available. So you see when I edit this yellow line remove, why? Because it needs to use on your system when you want to work with the string. And here util is not needed. Util is needed in the case when you want to read a user input. So as of now, the motive behind showing you the string is what? That string is a group of a character, okay? And string data is always represented with the double inverted comma, and character data is saved in a single variable with a single quote. So suppose if, okay, you tell me, like if I save 1 2 3 4 5 6 within this double quote, will it be my string or integer data? Can you tell
Sorry,
me?
I couldn't hear properly.
If I save here 1 2 3 4, will
Uh-huh.
it be my string or integer?
String.
Correct. Why? Because you are
We are
declared.
using double quotes.
Yes. So whatever you declare inside this double quote, that will be treated as a string variable, not as an integer.
Yeah.
Okay. So you note down this point also. And now we have used with the help of length function. In case any function is not clear to you, just hover the cursor over it. It will tell you the description of that function. As of now, like suppose here, I have put the cursor here. So it is showing me the length is equal to the number of Unicode unit in the string, the length of a sequence of character by this object. So it will give you the length of a element.
Yeah, I got it.
Now suppose this function, according to you, what is used for? Read it here. Sorry, can you read it now? Just see what is written there.
Returns the character value of the specified index. An index ranges from 0 to length -1. The first character value of the sequence is at the index 0, the next at index 1, and so on, as for the other indexing. If the character value is specified by the indexes
Sorry.
is surrogate, the surrogate value is returned. specified by character add and character sequence. Parameters index the index of character value returns the character value the specified index. Yeah, okay, got it.
So what do you understand from here, from this?
It will basically give you the character present at that particular index which we want.
Correct. So suppose let me try with the 3 and run this. So it will give you the character
You,
present at a index 3.
yes, okay, we'll give us.
That is your, sorry, G is here. Let me change it to B, then it will work. So you can access the element present on the string data at any index. So you get S. So you see what is present at index 3, S. So this is one more function. Now suppose you want to compare it any two string, then this compare to is different from the other compare to. In C language, or we have a compare that will give you a value like -1, 0, and 1, which is comparing the two value based on their content. Okay, means whether A is matching with the A or not, like
Yeah,
this N is that. But this compare to function will going to compare based on the Unicode. Do you know what is Unicode?
I do.
ASCII value, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Correct. So whatever key that are present on your keyboard, they have some ASCII value, because you and me, we both are conversate in English, right? I am speaking with you in English, और मैं हिंदी में भी बात करूंगा तो आपको समझ में आ जाएगा, right?
Yeah.
But how the system will understand, right? System, they understand based on this Unicode. When you press any key on the keyboard, internally the ASCII value was passed to your monitor, or this Unicode value is passed to your monitor, and then your monitor understand what actually the user want to write it down. Like here I am typing here, comparing based on Unicode value. Okay, so I typed here COMPARING, all this thing I have written here. But this thing I can understand, you can understand. System is understand that this is a comment and you are writing comparing based on Unicode. No, means each character of this command, or sorry, comment will internally convert into some Unicode representation. That Unicode representation will be understood by your monitor, or you can say it by your Java compiler, and based on that they will understand, okay, this, okay, let me run this and show you. So when you compare this one, first, second, third, right, you are getting 18. Why you are getting 18? It is comparing based on this Unicode A and S. Are they are matching? If they are matching or not, or based on that they are generating some value, and the sum of this value will be given like this. So there is some representation. Let me click it here. You can see it here. Comparison is based on the Unicode value of each character in the string. Character sequence represented by string object is compared lexicographically to the character sequence. Lexicographically means first you considered A, you will compare with the S. What is the difference between the Unicode? This is actually the difference in the Unicode value of this.
Okay.
Okay, A minus S, suppose 2. For example, I'm taking a some value. A minus S is 2. Then N minus N is suppose 0. N, sorry, here U minus S is suppose N. When you sum all this value, it will get this one. So it is something like that.
So I should keep a ASCII table with me.
Yeah, you can use that also.
Yeah.
So here you can compare this to. Now strip function. What do you mean by this strip function? This strip function is used to remove the space at the start and at the end. Just 1 minute. So here this leading and trailing edge will be removed by this strip function. Okay, do you want to check it? Like you can, when you put the cursor over it or you hover it, it shows you, right? It will remove the leading and trailing edge. And in which scenario you need it, where you want to remove this unnecessary space in the name. So when I run this, you can see it has removed that. Okay, 1 minute. One, two, three, four. Yeah, this is the fourth one. Okay, sorry, this one actually printing the as it is one. So here you can see it. Okay, let me comment this. So here you can see it. It has removed the space. So this trailing function will going to do what? It will going to remove the space, unnecessary space. So in this way, lot of operation you can do it with the help of string. This will going to convert your string into the character array. It will convert into the lowercase, uppercase, and this will going to give you the substring. And how you can find it out now? There might be the question, how you can find it out what kind of functions are available in the string. You don't need to do anything, just need to type system dot out dot print ln name of the variable. Suppose the name of variable is b, put dot. Once you put the dot, you will see they will suggest you the different kind of functions, predefined functions are available. Okay,
Yeah.
and based on that, once you select any function, it will give you the detail also, that it is used for what. You can see what parameter you want to pass it, that also you can see it.
Okay.
Okay, let me try showing you one, any of the function. Okay, this is blank will going to print, where they will going to check whether the string is empty or what. Okay, let me run this. So it will print 0 or 1. Based on that you can find it out. Okay, sorry. So you can see here you are getting false. What do you mean by this false? It means it tells you that b is not empty. Okay, 0 means false, 1 means true, but it will going to show you true and false only. Okay, false means it's not a blank. It means that it is asking, is b is blank? So it will going to check it and it will going to print it. Similarly, you can perform other function also if you want to check it. So there are a lot of functions are available, means it's a very dynamic language Java. Lot of functions are available. You can have a look, have a, you can try it and find it out, anything that you want to use it. There is one more function, trim. This trim function will going to do the same. It will remove the trailing and leading edge. This function they're going to do the same. Let me see any other function. So there are different kind of functions are there. You need to check what are the function it's possible for you. So here, there is one function. Let me pass it here. Now, okay. Now inside this, you need to pass the index. Whatever index you will going to pass it. Okay, sorry. And add an argument. Yeah, I will going to add it. Yes. So whatever index you will going to pass it here, based on that index, it will going to give you substring. Okay, let me rub this. Sorry, I forgot to rub this one. I will going to upload this code. I will going to share it also. So you can also try it and you can run it.
Yeah, can you share it like by night or something? Because I'm like free for 2 days.
Yeah, I will going to share it by today itself. So you see it when I pass it here 3, it is showing me the data that is start from the index 3. You can start it here 0, 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
So I have passed it 3 here. So it is starting from n. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. I have given the space here. Sorry. Remove the
yeah, that's
space.
what.
So when I remove the space, you can see it is starting from the S, 0, 1, 2, and S, right? So this kind of function will help you to work with the string, and there are variety of function you can apply on the string. Now I forgot to explain this one. If you want to print the substring starting from any index and an index, then you can do that also. Means here you are going to pass the starting beginning of the index value and this 3. So here actually Java take it n minus 1 value. N minus 1 in the sense, suppose you want to find out any substring, so it will start from 1 considering the substring, but it will print till n minus 1 value. Now here suppose I will pass 5, so it will give me starting from character from the 1 till 4. Do you want to check it? Just check.
Mhm.
So see it here. It is giving me this. What is present at index 1? N. 2 U. 3 S. 4 H. At 5 what is present? K. But is it taking K? Correct. Because it follow n minus 1. Okay. N minus 1 in the sense it do
Oh my
for
God.
n index it will take n minus 1.
Okay.
Okay. So in this way you can perform several operation with the string data. So you today you practice on this string, try with other function, take other value on this, take some space and work on this. Today I will going to share you all the day 2 code also. I think day 2 also I haven't shared.
Um,
Day 3 also I will going to upload it. Have a look on all this.
okay.
With that, this code I will going to share you. You can practice this. So in the next class on Monday when we connect it, tomorrow do you have a class?
No, I don't.
Okay. So on Monday when we connect it, I will start this array part, and
Wait,
with
what
that
is tomorrow? Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Yeah, we don't have.
Okay. So tomorrow, sorry, on the Monday we will start the array concept. Just practice this code, have a command over it, find it out, and read the instruction. Also, I have added comment to explain each and every instruction. Practice this so that you will remember it. This thing you don't need to remember. Just put the dot after the variable name, so you will get it which function you need to apply based on your requirement.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.